Andor is not out yet. They said it was going to be out at midnight on the US side, I guess. Or maybe it's in another time zone in America, I don't know. But I haven't seen it out yet. Usually it would have been posted already. Yeah. Yeah, I'm not eating that. Yeah, someone grabbed the phone last night. I fell with it. Fell asleep with it on my chest because they knocked me out with ELF. And I think someone grabbed it because its settings aren't exactly funny. Soviet Wi-Fi grabbed the phone again and did some incredible calculating. That's right, I'm gonna fix it in a minute. This about it in there. Very warm actually today. It feels nice. Not too bad this morning. It was warm last night. Felt like summer again. You know, like I said, in the wintertime it can drop the temperature suddenly and fast. Like you're in fucking, like you're in fucking mountains or something, and there's a sudden draft of cold air coming from out of nowhere. So even though it's warm now, it might not last very long. So these drones, they're trained pretty well. Like I said, they create kill boxes on the sidewalk. Now when they come around corners, they change direction midway in the corner. They do this everywhere. So they'll come around the corner, look like they might be walking straight, and then suddenly keep turning. Yeah. They do this all day long. All day long they do this. Like, are you going straight? Are you turning? Which way are you fucking going? They do this midway in the corner, coming around the buildings. The Soviet trained them very well, like I said. They've been doing this for a while, which is why this place right here, it is my suspicion that they stole a lot of stuff around here. Like I said, New York, you see the same kind of activity. Also another place where they very likely stole a lot of shit, besides my back. I haven't been to LA, but you can only guess that if these trained Soviet soldiers are in LA, and they are, they probably stole a lot of shit. said, you can always tell a problem area that you're in a problem area by the way they behave on the sidewalks. Understand? If you see this kind of behavior daily, it means that this is an area where they probably stole some shit in the past. That's why, like I said, you gotta, the multi-million-dollar question is, what the fuck did they steal last time? That's the multi-million-dollar question you should be asking yourselves. What did they steal last time and from who? Yeah? And every time you come across one of these cities, one of these cities like this one, major city with 7 million people, and you come across this kind of behavior on the sidewalks, you can suspect that they probably did this many fucking times. Yeah, and they stole quite a lot of shit. It's not very easy to figure this out. If they behave like this on the sidewalks daily, in London, they probably stole a lot of shit. Just like they do in New York and LA. So, like I said, the multi-million-dollar question is, what has the Soviet parasite stolen last time and from who? There's always a last time. There's always a last time. It's either my clothes got better or it's not too bad today. It's probably gonna be a lot warmer. The thing that I've been thinking about is that because, like I said, what I noticed is that because they stored the bag, but this was happening before the bag. Like I said, I used to pick up my trash. Granted, it was a mattress that I threw away at my apartment complex. The thing you gotta, because I actually had to buy another bed, a normal bed, so it was like a black leather type of bed, and it had its own mattress or something, I don't remember, because I had a pillow top mattress and no bed, essentially. So, what I noticed is that they were picking stuff up from the trash, which is more or less normal, unless, I wouldn't really care, unless it's for this framing program, then, there's a problem, but what I noticed is that they were slowly picking up stuff before they stole the bag. And it continued after they stole the bag. Phones and shit, and chargers. They stole at least 2 chargers from me in the last 5 years that I've been coming in here. They stole 2 chargers from me. Not 1, but 2. And at least 4 phones. This guy has a strong appetite for chargers and phones. Yeah, it was a non-Samsung charger that I had, that I was using. That was the first one that they stole. And then they stole a Samsung charger, the second one. And 4 phones. This guy has a very strong appetite around here for phones and chargers. Yeah, that's what they stole around here. Now, like I said, it's interesting because they were doing this, they were picking stuff up, every now and then, before the bag, from the trash. And obviously, after they got the bag, it got even worse. So, now, this guy's excuse, and according to the rules that I have yet to find out what they are, is saying that the reason why they're stealing stuff now is because of the bag. Keep in mind, in Romania, they stole a bicycle from the side of the house. They walked into my yard. They walked into my front yard and they stole a bicycle from the side of the house. That was a full-size bicycle that my father made. Then they stole another bicycle at the apartment complex in Park Colony in Norcross, Georgia, which was the first apartment complex that we stayed in when we moved to America. So they stole 2 bicycles before the bag. Now this guy, this Soviet Sauron piece of shit, is saying that, oh, now they're stealing stuff because of the bag. Well, it looks like you were stealing stuff before the bag, including 2 bicycles. And apparently what they want in this is to steal something of marginal value. The bag had a value of at least 600, maybe 500. The bicycle in Romania had a value, pretty significant value in Romania because they are needed. People do ride bicycles in Romania. So over there, that bicycle had a certain value. It's marginally valuable, and this Soviet waits for you to call his police. Oh, he called the Freemasonry police, and it means that the bicycle is not stolen. So what you're saying, Soviet fuck, is that if I would have said, well, I don't like my bicycle being stolen, and I'm gonna, say to the police, maybe I would have wrote down the serial number from the bicycle or kept the receipt, even though it wasn't that valuable. So what you're saying to me is that if these Soviet soldiers you got in here, this paramilitary force, which is undeclared, that you fucking deputized, what you're saying if that these motherfuckers steal something from me, I don't have the right to tell to talk to the police about it? Is that what you're saying? Is that what you're saying, Soviet? You're saying that I don't have the right as a citizen to talk to the police about the shit that you're stealing because it's your Freemasonry fucking police? Well, like I said, there's a lot of fishy shit going on around here, especially in America, with this little framing gig you motherfuckers got going on. I'm gonna light your ass up, motherfucker, like you've never seen before. Fuck your money. Fuck your women, too. If this is true, if what they tell me is true, Soviet, I am gonna light your ass up like a motherfucker like you've never seen before. If what they tell me, and you better hope that it's not true, if what they tell me has a slither of truth in it, I'm willing to bet, and I definitely want to go through with this to find out where this goes, that I will do my absolute best to light your ass up like a motherfucker. An insufferable fucking bitch. What an insufferable bitch you are, transgender cunt. You better hope and pray that you can play this bag tune a while fucking longer, son. I am not interested in talking to you, negotiating with you. I am more interested than anything else in finding out who you are, who the rest of your fucking crew is, and lighting your ass up like you've never seen before, Soviet fuck. You understand? I am not interested in negotiating with you, talking to you, associating with you. None of the above. You better hope and pray that bag shit keeps, you can keep that shit up for a while longer, motherfucker. You better hope and pray that it works for the rest of your fucking days. Excuse me. And like I said, it's definitely something to behold. Holy shit. 75 years of the Cold War, they said. I don't know how much taxpayer money they spent. Apparently it was for nothing. What an interesting gig these allies got, huh? What an interesting gig it is. The motherfucker didn't have enough soldiers, if you notice, in the last 20 years. He brought his friends over here from the Soviet Union, which is basically the rest of the world. You got communism in South America, you got communism in Africa, and you got it in Asia. And he brought friends from all three places. Did you notice? Apparently he did not have enough foot soldiers in America, and he brought himself some friends over from all three continents that all have communism. What a surprise. He only knows communists. Let's sit down and do some calming down. If we can find a charger, that'd be nice. And there it is. Yeah, so like I said, I saw some new stuff on this phone. It means one of these orcs grabbed the phone last night. So it was behaving strangely last night. Let's see what it does. Yeah, it's not going to charge, is it? Let's see if it drops. So what I noticed last night is, like I said, someone grabbed the phone when I fell asleep. And it was only fast charging from the laptop if I deleted all the power settings from the phone. So there's some commands in there that I don't use that delete power settings. They delete settings in the phone, like power settings, battery saver settings, and it was fast charging after I deleted those settings. So it might have something to do with global settings, some kind of script that they write into global settings. Now I got to reset it, obviously. That would be a good idea to reset the settings, but I haven't done that yet. Charge the laptop. Yeah, so it's charging now. Yesterday I was talking about Tolkien, but the video got erased because I put in some commands and I forgot to save the video, and the video was gone. I was using the FS commands, ADB commands, for the disk, for the partitions and stuff. So yesterday I was talking about how in Tolkien they always talk about the corruption of men, and the elves are always alluding to the corruption of men. And, you know, it's a theme in the Lord of the Rings and the books, apparently, for the elves to mention the corruption of men. Now, obviously, if the Lord of the Rings is rooted in some kind of reality, given them Numenor sinks, Doggerland sunk. This was many thousands of years ago, probably over 100,000 years ago, who knows. And like I said, everybody in there is pagan. The elves are pagan, the dwarves are pagan, the Numenorians are pagan, even Sauron is a pagan, but more of a heretic, obviously evil. Not actually what you consider a normal pagan. So if it's based loosely on reality, being that Numenor sinks, Doggerland sunk, based on Western Europe, based on pagan Western Europe, pagan Europe in general, which was everybody before the age of Christianity and the Roman Empire. So we can decipher that maybe it's based loosely on some kind of reality. Like I said, they keep talking about the corruption of men. Now, my rebuttal to that is, what corruption? Because there's no men. If this was going on back then, and transgenderism was so popular back then, what men are we talking about? Now, the other point is, that since you have no actual men, granted it may or may not be true back then as well, if they are, let's say, if they had transgenderism at that time, and the elves were talking about the corruption of men, and those are men who did not exist, just like America, just like America is talking about white men that they don't have. Just like America is talking about white men that they don't have today. So if back then this was happening, the other point is, besides the fact that you can't corrupt something that doesn't exist, right? And the other point is, you're talking about something that was corrupted from the gestation period. Because obviously, someone somewhere, I guess this Soviet Sauron, is making the decision that everybody should be transgender. And if you're out of women, you're shit out of luck, you're going to be transgender either way. Because there's no women. And there's no men either, obviously. You need both to have normal people. So there's two issues with the corruption of men that they allude to in the Lord of the Rings. There's no men. If this was going on back then, there's no men. And they would have been corrupted from the gestation period because they would all be transgender. How can you say that's, how can you say that the men are corrupt if you took something from its original purpose and design and changed it and corrupted it, right? That's basically corruption from the gestation period because they are all transgender, whether they like it or not. You got no women, no men, guess what? You're going to be transgender. Because someone somewhere said so. Another issue is that if the books and the movies are based loosely on some reality, it is very likely that the elves would have left in the first age. But then you don't have a novel, you don't have any books or movies to base it on. But if it is true that the people of the Southlands are helping Sauron, you had a king who was Sauron. You had, in the series, you got one lunatic who's hiding the hilt. Then it progresses to two lunatics hiding the hilt. In the movies, you have a little hominid hiding the ring. Now, if you combine all these factors together, the ring, two idiots are hiding the hilt. They make no effort to alert the elves or the dwarves or Gandalf that they have the ring or that they are hiding the hilt. The hilt passes through the hands of two fucking people. Now, let's combine the fact that they're talking about the corruption of men that doesn't exist because there's no men, and they were corrupted from birth because they're all transgender. You have 5 major factors that would tell me that the elves, upon finding this out, would have absolutely left and fucked off in the first age, and there would not be a second or third age. It would have been finished by the first stage, which is exactly what likely happened if it is based loosely on reality and factual events, about 100,000, 200,000 years ago, millions, whatever. If it is based loosely on reality, the elves would have fucked off in the first age upon finding out the people of the Southlands are hiding, working with Sauron. 2 of those idiots are hiding the hilt. 1 idiot is hiding the ring. They make no effort to inform the elves or the dwarves that they have the ring or the hilt. And more or less they are enabling Sauron. And they are, and today they're hiding the identity of Sauron just like they would have, just like they would have back then. Today, more or less, these people are hiding the identity of the Soviet Sauron just like they did back then. A tremendous parallel, isn't it? An incredible parallel to have. They're hiding the hilt in the ring. Today, they chose to hide the identity of Sauron. Like I said, if it is based loosely on reality, the elves would have fucked off in the first stage. You would not have a second or third age, and Sauron would have won. The end of the books, the end of the movies, it would have all ended in the first stage. That would have been the end of it. But you got to have something to write about. Like I said, the elves have a really, the elves in the movies and the books, they have a very big heart. A lot bigger than I have. That's for sure. I mean, I would have said, hey, man, these men are accusing us of, I don't know what the fuck they were accusing the elves of. They made an effort to get them to unite. The men resisted. Yeah. You know, they had many obstacles in their way to, you know, that kept them from uniting the peoples of Middle Earth. And it was the people themselves that enabled Sauron. Now, like I said yesterday, like I said, I didn't record it because I ran some commands in the video when missing. And like I said, who's the bigger threat? Is it Sauron himself or his enablers that are the people of the Southlands, the people of Middle Earth, the men, quote unquote? Would Sauron even be a threat had those two idiots not hidden the hilt and one idiot hid the fucking ring? Probably not. You see, is Sauron really as perversive, as perverse, and as evil as he could be without the people of Middle Earth? No, he would not be. He would not have the capability to do almost anything, especially return in physical form, because, you know, it's supposed to be some kind of witch king or something. The people of Middle Earth are actually more dangerous than Sauron himself because they're hiding the hilt, they hid the ring, and some of them are physically enabling Sauron to exist. So who's the bigger problem here? Is it Sauron himself or the people of Middle Earth that are enabling Sauron? It's the people of Middle Earth, isn't it? Just like now when they choose to hide the identity of this Sauron, today. They did so back then. They are a bigger threat than Sauron himself by the choices that they make. They chose to hide the hilt twice. It passed through the hands of two idiots who told no one that they had it. They didn't tell anybody, not the dwarves, not the elves, not anybody. And one idiot was hiding the ring. Who's the bigger threat? Is it Sauron or the peoples of Middle Earth? It's the fucking people guy, which means that the elves would have fucked off in the first age and you would have never had a second or third age. The end. That's what it means, guys. If you combine all of that together, guaranteed 100% chance that there would have been no second or third age and Sauron would have won. There you go. It's very simple to figure this out, isn't it? Very interesting as well. To analyze something that is based loosely on reality, 100, 200,000 years ago, 1 million years ago, 500,000 years ago, there would have been no second or third age. If you take all of that into account, absolutely not. 100% guaranteed. You see? There you go. There you go, guys. You found your problem. You know, the elves have a really big heart. I despise my fellow man. I really do, guys. The elves, unlike me, they have a very big heart. You know, very big heart, and they put forward a very big effort to unite the peoples of Middle Earth in a common cause. They didn't have any racial diversity to divide them. They didn't have any religious diversity to divide them. They didn't have any genders to divide them. They didn't have any of the social problems that America has to divide them. Like I said, America is always going to be divided. There's no such thing as healing the fucking nation, guy. It's going to be divided divided in the same way that Palestinians and Jews are in Israel. They're going to be divided for, until the end of time, until one of the group obviously dies off. If it's the Palestinians or the Jews, it's probably going to be the Palestinians in the end because they're always getting bombed. Yeah, so you can say that even though they had no social problems, no division such as race or religion, they were all pagan. And if they had no such issues in Middle Earth, and you contribute all these negative factors together, what are the chances that the elves would have left in the first age? 100% guaranteed. 100% certainty that the elves would have left in the first age and there would have been no second or third age. And they, despite their efforts to unite the peoples of Middle Earth, they had numerous obstacles that exist today that didn't exist back then, like race and religion. You see? It's so easy to figure this out, isn't it? The first stage would have been the end of the Tolkien works, the end of the appendixes, the end of the novel, the end of everything. There would have been no movies, beyond the first age. But you got to have a novel. You got to have some writings. You got to have some books. You got to have some appendixes. You got to have some movies. You got to have some series. Yeah? So in all probability, if you contribute everything together that was negative, would have ended in the first stage, 100% guaranteed. I despise my fellow man. I really do. I have reasons to. So did the elves. I mean, just look at the series and look at the movies and look at the books and look at the obstacles that they came across. And granted, they did have the division of race between elves, men, and dwarves. They had that division of race, but they were all pagan. Yeah, they were all white. It doesn't matter. dwarf, white, more or less Scandinavian. The elves, more or less Scandinavian and pagan. The Numenorians, more or less Scandinavian and pagan, white. Yeah, all of them were white. Granted, they were dwarves and elves and people and men and shit. They didn't have. Look at all the obstacles they came across, even though they didn't have any of the problems that America has. They keep talking about healing the nation. Healing what nation, guy? It's going to be a nation divided from here until the end of time, until everybody becomes a degenerate fucking orc. And by that time, like I said, no one's going to give a shit how woke you are when you look like a fucking orc. Yeah? And you can say that the divided nation of America will remain divided, just like the Palestinians and the Jews are in Israel. It's a melting pot of division, and it will remain so for the foreseeable future. Yeah? Just like Palestinians and Jews are in Israel. There's no healing the nation, guy. You need to get that out of your head. You know, there are so many societal issues in America to make any kind of union persist into the future. It's finished. Yeah, your union of 50 states is finished. Doesn't matter if you, think or if you hope that it might turn around. Because in the end, like I said, black Americans want Morgan Freeman as president. White Americans dearly love Trump. They love Trump dearly. And they want Trump to be president. You got Mexicans who now probably want Diego Luna to be president because he's doing Star Wars stuff in Andor. And Diego Luna is going to be president if the Mexicans overbreed everybody else, and they are. You see, everybody wants something different because they are more or less racially loyal. Nothing wrong with it. Perfectly reasonable to be racially loyal to Trump if you're white, even though Trump is not white. Perfectly normal to be racially loyal to Morgan Freeman if you want him to be president. Perfectly normal if you're a Mexican American. Well, I'm not sure what the fuck that means because they fought a war with Mexico, but perfectly reasonable for a Mexican American to want Diego Luna to be president because he's an Andor. Or Diego Garcia, or any of the above. Understand? It's a nation divided. It will continue to be so, just like Jews and Palestinians in Israel. Makes no difference what anybody wants. Makes no difference what anybody hopes. Hope for America, Obama said. There's no such thing, guy. There's no such thing for that 50-state union. It's already divided ethnically. Granted, I haven't seen any white people myself when I was there. And if everybody wants something different, because they're more or less racially loyal to blacks or whites or Mexicans or Asians, because you got those in there as well, you're always going to be divided. It makes no difference what anybody wants. Which was obviously the purpose from the get-go of the 1960s and the mass immigration acts that they had. They said something about 200,000 every year that can enter America yearly. That's a lot of people. They brought Mexicans. They brought from Brazil up to Mexico, they brought the entire populations of those countries through America. Unbelievable mass immigration that happened since the 1960s up to today. They brought the entire populations of certain small countries from Mexico down to Brazil, Venezuela. They brought the populations of all those countries since the 1960s to present day through America. This is absurd. This never happens under normal circumstances. It doesn't even matter how poor they are. First of all, they wouldn't even make it to the border because they are poor. Do you know how abnormal that is? It's impossible. They wouldn't even make it to the border because they are poor. Understand? It doesn't matter what anybody wants. It doesn't matter what anybody hopes for. It's a nation divided. It will continue to be so. Accept it. You got politicians in there that are always trying to, you need to unite the country. You need to set aside our differences. There's no such thing, guy. It's already divided ethnically. It's already divided, even though I haven't seen those white people myself. It's already very divided. It will remain that way, indifferent of who comes around. If it's Sauron, or if I knock off Sauron and I take over, if you have this president and that president, it's always going to be divided, guy. Just like Palestinians and Jews. Granted, the Palestinians are dying. Somebody, like I said, I highly doubt that if you offer them some money, they're not going to move. You know, very likely there's other Muslim countries to choose from. You know, they got like 7 around those areas. Obviously, if you were to make them an offer to just move, they would probably just move. You know, it's just like I said, it's just like nail houses in China. The reason those people don't move is because nobody wants to make them a reasonable offer on the property that they have. So they stay in there in the middle of the fucking highway in their houses, nail houses. See, because nobody wants to make them a reasonable offer to move and sell their property. Understand? Nail houses. The Palestinians are basically living in nail houses because they don't want to move, and nobody wants to pay them to move, even though they have all the money. They printed more money with COVID. They could have easily solved the Palestinian and Israeli conflict if they would have taken some of that COVID money on COVID, quote unquote, and spent it by giving some of the money to the Palestinians to move. They would have moved. They got 7 other Muslim countries to live in, right nearby Palestine. You know, it's probably within walking distance. It's a small car ride. You know, it's a short car ride out of Palestine to the next Muslim country. And if somebody would have taken some of that COVID money and say, we're going to offer the Palestinians some money to move, they would have taken the money. But nobody does this. Yeah, because Israel is using the Palestinians to squeeze Congress for military aid. That's the reason why. The Israelis get something out of it by having the Palestinians as neighbors. They get to squeeze America for some dough. Granted, in my opinion, anybody with any money in America is a Jew, so they're not really getting a handout from white folks. They're getting it from other Jews who make money in America. If it's Zuckerberg, or if it's Hollywood, or if it's someone in the Senate or the House, you know, whoever in there, you know, whoever pays. Like I said, most of the, in my opinion, all the high earners, anybody that pays any taxes in America is Jewish. So Israel is not necessarily getting a handout because they're getting it from other Jews who earned it, more or less. Sure, it's a monopoly, sure, but they did earn it. Some of them pay taxes. The highest earners, in my opinion, in America are probably Jews, whoever they are. And if they pay taxes, some of that tax money goes to Israel. Nothing wrong with it. Granted, it is a monopoly on money making in there, huge monopoly. Yeah. So you see, it's a nation divided. It will remain so for the foreseeable future. You can forget about any politician attempting to save the Union. There's no such thing. It was designed to fail from the get-go. It's a young country, some 300 years old, 400 maximum, right? Since they got independence, it's only about 300. If you count it from the 1700s, from the quote-unquote independence that they got, up to today, it's only about 300 years old, and it's already breaking at the seams. It's already divided. Why? Because it was designed from the get-go to be divided. You had the slaves from the get-go, you had the Native Americans from the very beginning. It was always going to be divided. The Native Americans want another president as well. They don't like Trump either. And I told you before, you know, they keep pitching this, control of America. This crew made it very clear when they scored the bag that, one, they're not going to listen to white people. They hate white people. They despise white people. And they have nothing but hatred for white people. They made this very clear from the moment they stole the bag. Very informative. Thank you for letting me know. I heard you. You know, this group keeps pitching control of Africa, control of Asia, control of America, when I told you that these people don't listen to white people. They never have. I told you that they don't listen to white people. They're not going to give a shit about the framing program, your kicks, your perks, or your fucking kickbacks or anything. They don't listen to whites. They made this clear when they scored the bag. Anyway, this was a nice talk. I hope it clears the air. You know, I hope it clears the air, guys. Good thing it's charging. I'm 81%. Obviously, awesome stuff. Alright, I'm gonna go wash my face and brush my teeth as well because I drank some shit. I obviously ate a lot of shit yesterday. And I need to brush my teeth today. got a bunch of shit in my hair. Like I said, every fucking day I fart something. I need to fix that box and extend it some because they're getting in from the top of it. I'm simply rubbing shit in my hair. Or, not sure. Shit, he must be doing a lot of hacking from there. Look at that.
Can you come to the back?
Supposed to have and we're supposed to be out already. Something is we must have hit a snag, even though it's not even midnight right now. I think it should be midnight now on the East Coast. Yeah, so it's probably midnight now on the East Coast, so it should have premiered. Because like I said, Diego Luna is a major source in this. just like Kristen Bell and her husband is as well, comes up sometimes. Diego Luna, Kristen Bell's husband, and Adam Driver, who is Jewish. So this is brush my teeth right now. See if Friends of Essex is supposed to come today. They didn't come last Wednesday. Like I said, they bring good food, but that's the reason why they don't come. It's because their food is better, you know. Usually their food has been the best. Churchill brings good stuff, you know, which is why they don't come, not necessarily because it's poison or whatever the fuck. It's, if they bring good stuff, they don't come. So last Wednesday they didn't show up. I gotta wait until 5. I'm starving right now. My mouth is watering from the shit that I drank yesterday because the water was poisoned again with this fucking burping shit where causes you to salivate, makes your breath stink. Fucking ridiculous. Anyway, it's gonna go to Salisbury after I wash up a bit. Spend some money that I don't have. Keep in mind, you know, it's true throughout nature. You cannot have competing groups sharing the same territory. It's not going to happen. One group will, you know, it's you know, this story of diversity is just fantasy. You understand? It's in America that is as divided as it is today. One group will win out over the others. It's the way it is in nature. It's the way it's the law of the land, the law of nature is the way it is. Understand? It's a nation divided, and in the end, what will happen in there is that one group will win out over the other groups. Understand? Diversity is a fairy tale, guys. You know, that's the reason why they're divided. Understand? And in the end, what will happen is that one group will win out over the other. Just as I said, just as I said yesterday, whoever is more numerous reserves the right to be racist. See, the Chinese are 1.5 billion, the Indians are 1.5 billion. They are more or less 100% Indian, and they reserve the right there and here to be racist. Understand? If there's a billion Africans in Africa, and they are 46% of the U.S. population, they reserve the right to be racist in Africa and in America because they have the numbers to do so. I'm just one guy. I can't be racist if I want to be. It's just one of me. No, I don't have any reason, no. This guy's crazy when he's fucking smoking. No one gives a shit. Really? What kind of good is meaty that has meat in it? Yeah, I'll get some of this meat. Chorizo slices. 3 of those. 3 chorizo slices. And
you okay? The water out there get down. Lord, he gave them to get down. Yes, ma'am. Number 5. Yeah. 1.
Excuse me, can I take one off? Because I got too many.
You want to take just one, okay?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that's not okay. All right, so we got 2 of them. I counted 1 extra pound somewhere. pretty delicious. Very delicious.
아니 근데 저 있어.
I just wanted the label. I wanted the plastic label to, put it on my necklace. Keep in mind, you're not going to go to China and peddle this woke nonsense and tell them that they're racist. Like I said, there's 1.5 billion of them. They might have Russian admixture. They might be partly black. No one really cares, but they're more or less, Chinese. Communism or no communism. In China, you're not going to go, you're not going to go in there because you're making movies and tell them that they need to be woke like you or that they are racist. They don't give a shit. Yeah, whoever's more numerous reserves the right to be racist. Yeah, as a result, in China, no one gives a shit if you're making woke shit movies. They don't buy it. They don't need to. Yeah. It's the same story in India. It's a male-driven society. That's why it's 1.5 billion Indians. And you're not going to go in there and tell them that they're racist. Understand? Whoever is more numerous reserves the right to be racist. Yeah? That's why India is India and China is China, and they are Chinese and Indian. And it's entirely Chinese and Indian. Because whoever is more numerous reserves the right to be racist. The end. Yeah. Around those parts, you're not going to go in there and peddle woke fucking movies about social justice. It's not going to fly around there. Yeah, that's the reason why, it's a Western phenomenon, purely Western. And in those parts, it doesn't work. You can't sell it. You can't market. You can't market wokeness in China or India. Because whoever is more numerous reserves the right to be racist and tell you to get the fuck out. Yeah, they reserve that right because there are so many of them. It's a, this is a Western phenomenon exclusively to the West, and in those areas they don't take that kind of shit. In that Southeast Asian region, they don't take that kind of shit. Whoever's more numerous reserves the right to be a racist, and they earn it. It's something that you can earn. It's also a right that you can lose. America lost that right. You got all kinds of people in there. Mexicans, even though they fought the Mexican War. You got Asians, even though America fought communism in Asia. It's a right that you can earn or lose. I wanted to get the label from this. They put the Austrian flag at the bottom. I think it's Austrian. Or Spanish flag, I don't know. Now, who is more powerful in the world today? You think it's America, isn't it? In terms of military bases and military power, you might say, oh, it's America that's the most powerful. Is it? Is it? Ask yourself, is it really? Because who reserves the right to be racist? Is it America or China? Who still has the right to be racist at the moment? Remember, in America, you have all the rights in the world that you want to have. All the freedoms. Now you can have any right you want to have, guaranteed to you by the law of the land, which is the Constitution. That was amended so many times, it doesn't even make any fucking sense anymore. And it's become useless as a document and as the law of the land. And they amended that shit so many times you can practically, I mean, it's probably because it has so many there's been so many amends to the Constitution, it's probably meaningless by now. Vastly contradicting, you might have contradicting clauses and laws in there that were amended in the Constitution, and in the end it doesn't make any more fucking sense. Because it was amended so many times, they just kind of fucking nullified the entire Constitution by making so many amendments. Essentially what happened. Essentially it's what happened, So ask yourself this, who is America really the most powerful country in the world right now, militarily? No, it's not, because they don't have the right to be racist. They lost that right. And whoever is more numerous in there has the right to be racist. If it's non-whites in general, it's the reason why it's divided. See, China can tell any one group that ends up in China to get the fuck out because they reserve the right to be racist. They're more numerous as Chinese. See, that is more power than the military power that America has. If you can tell one group to another, ethnic, religious, whatever, if you, as a group, Americans, can tell another group, liberal, might be divided on politics, religion, race, whatever, ideology, creed, whatever. The power of being, having the reserved right to be racist comes from being able to tell another group to get the fuck out. Understand? It doesn't matter if, militarily America is very sound and it has many bases. Because America cannot tell another group, within its borders to get the fuck out. They can't do that anymore. See, when you have one group telling another group, this is the way it's going to be, you are getting the fuck out of here, we're staying. That is power. Isn't it? It's true, isn't it? It doesn't matter how many bases you have, what kind of weaponry you develop with DARPA or whatever, whatever. It doesn't matter if your military budget is $1 trillion fucking dollars. Can America tell another group to get the fuck out. No, we cannot. You cannot say that in America. You can no longer say that. As a result, India, a third world country that still has people living in slums, has more power than America, because it can tell, the Indians can tell anybody, get the fuck out. So can the Chinese. The Africans can do it too, believe it or not. Third world Africa can do it. America cannot do that. You lost that power. You lost that right. You lost that right as a sovereign country. You lost the power to tell another group to get the fuck out. See, China has more power now. India has more power, even Africa, because they can do that. You know, one group to another, they can tell another group, any other group on the planet, you know, they can tell any other individual on this planet, God or man. India and China can do that, even Africa can do that. Get the fuck out. They can say that, they can do that. America cannot. Big difference, guys. Huge difference. Who has more rights? America or China? Well, it looks like China has the best rights, because they can tell any other group or individual, God or man, get the fuck out. And America cannot do that, guys. America lost that right to say that as a white country. That's why everybody's in there. They keep bringing in some more people. You know, bring some more people, bring some more Asians in there and talk about Chinese spy. It makes a lot of sense. Fantastic. What a turn of events, guys. You lost your inalienable right to tell any other group or individual to get the fuck out. You lost that right within your borders. That's why you got Antifa fucking off in there. You got all kinds of liberal degeneracy fucking off in there. You got Asians fucking off in there. Granted, it's not really there. It's not, you know, they're not actually the reason why they're in there. You know, they came in there by invite. You got Mexicans fucking off in there. You got all kinds of Amerindian races in there. All kinds of Asians in there. Taiwanese, Indonesian, Philippine, something, whatever. See, you lost the right to say that. In America, you lost that right. The biggest right that you can lose. Yeah? And you're bleeding white people. I mean, it's tremendous to see the voting rolls drop, you know, drop every year for white people. Either they stop voting or they die. See? The biggest right that you can have, your inalienable right as a sovereign country, is to tell another group to get the fuck out. Can you do that or not? The Chinese can do it. Indians can do it. Even Africans can do it. You see, America, with all that military power, lost that right to say that. You don't have the right to say that as a country to any other group living in your borders. Tell them to get the fuck out. See, you lost that right? I want the labels from this. Chorizo slices. You know, even money. You can have all the money you want. You know, the biggest GDP in the world, still to this day, does not buy you the right. The biggest GDP and the biggest economy in the world does not buy you the right to tell another group to get the fuck out. Biggest military doesn't buy you the right, doesn't guarantee you the right as a group to get, you know, to tell another group to get the fuck out. See, it makes no difference how much money you have, what military you have, what size military, what size country. You lost that right. You can no longer tell any other group living in there to get the fuck out. The Indians can, and the Chinese can, and the Africans can. You cannot. Big difference. Even the biggest GDP and the world's largest economy cannot buy you that right. See, China doesn't need GDP or the biggest economy to have that right. You know, because what matters is their numbers. Do they have, whoever is the most numerous, reserves the right to be racist? Well, there's nothing wrong with it. Remember, the laws of nature, the law of the land. You know, the law of the land is that one group will prevail over another. It's the way it is, the way it will be. The way, you know, the way it has always been. One group will prevail over another. That's the way it is, guys. It's not, you know, I didn't come up with that rule. Nature did. You know, that's the way it's always been. You know, one group will prevail over another in the end. Yeah, I saw at least two elephants from House of Dragon since I started watching it. Yeah, Alicent is also Queen Elizabeth, guys. You know, Alicent is also Queen Elizabeth. Let me see if Andor came out.